Hi guys, today I'm going to teach you how to make Mirabel from Encanto. First, we will start with her feet. Get a rolled fondant and then flatten one side. Use a fondant tool to help you make the ankle more prominent. And then do the same thing on the other side. Use your fingers to roll out the fondant so that it will look thinner. Cut in the middle and then you'll have 2 feet. Make sure that they are about the same size. Cut the lower part of the feet so that it is flat. Place a wire on each leg so that you will have support. This is very important so that you will have a support, otherwise your character might fall. Do it gently so not to damage the feet. Do necessary adjustments if you feel like it got a bit of damage. And do the same thing on the other foot. When it's done, we will now start on creating the shoes. Flatten a white fondant and put it under her feet. This way you will have the exact size of her feet and all you have to do is cut around it. Use a small scissor to help you be precise. And then on the other foot as well. When you're done, combine the two wires together so they won't separate. A flat pink fondant for the top part of her shoes. Like what we did earlier, we will use the feet as a guide. Make sure the whole feet is covered. Use a fondant tool to help you cut all those tricky parts. And then remove all those excess fondant. It should look something like this. We will move on to the lower part of her body. Create a brown rectangle fondant and then cut a V shape on one side. After that, combine it together with the rest of the body. Cut the part where you see that there's a line and then merge them together. This way, it will look more natural as if it was created from one fondant. After that, just use your fingers to blend them together. When you're done, set it aside so that we can create the body. With the white rectangle, we will create the chest part of her body. You can use your mobile phone or print it out so that you can make sure that the size is proportion. Cut a rectangle shape just enough for her chest. Use a fondant tool to help you shape her body. And then combine it with the rest of the body. Do not forget to put edible glue. Set it aside while we work on her skirt. I have created this pattern beforehand using only a paper. This will serve as a guide for me to know where to cut my fondant. Using this fondant tool, I will create some patterns on the bottom part of her skirt. I will just repeat the same process until I reach the other part of the end. Make sure that there are no separations in the middle. When you are done, remove all those excess fondant. I am just adding two lines across the skirt. This is just additional design, but of course we are trying to copy Mirabel from the original. Put some edible glue on the back part of the skirt and then put it on her. Try to be gentle so that you won't break the skirt. I'm just doing this to add more volume to the skirt. And then cut the excess fondant. Try to fix any imperfections if you see any. This looks good. I'm very happy with this. Now let us move on to the sleeves of her shirt. With the white fondant, create an oval shape and then make both ends a little bit pointy and then cut it in half. It should look something like this. This is like a chocolate kisses cut in half. Use a ball tool to help you create the hollow part of the sleeve. Set it aside while we work on the arms. Roll the thin brown fondant and then flatten both ends for the hands. This is a bit tricky to explain one by one, so try to follow what you're seeing as much as you can. Now I am using a fondant tool to help me create the wrist and then flatten the end part. It will look like a paddle. Cut a triangle shape on the side. This will be your thumb. And then of course on the other side as well. Use your fingers to smoothen up all those things that you have cut. Now I'm just cutting the sides and the top part of the hand so that we can shape our hand properly. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you find our video tutorial helpful. I am creating three small cuts here for the fingers. Of course on the other side as well. And then cut it in half. Now you will have two hands. Adjust the length of the hand according to your needs. I have added two wires for our arms in our body. Add the sleeves that we did earlier. Don't forget to put edible glue so that it will not slip. Let us add our arm now. Using a fondant tool, gently bend the arm. Add the other arm and bend it as well. Make sure that they are about the same size. Now that we are done with the body, we will now start on her face. Get the same brown fondant that we used for her body and then put a small styrofoam inside because we will be creating a chibi character. This way, it will save us a bit of fondant because usually chibi characters have a big head. Cover the whole styrofoam with the fondant and try to make it as smooth as possible. Use your hands to press on the face. This will be the eye part of our head. You can also use your thumb to make it more prominent. But remember to press it gently so that you will not break the fondant. Use a fondant tool to help you shape it properly. Make sure that you won't reach the styrofoam. Now I'm just creating a line for the mouth as well. And then creating an inverted triangle for her mouth because she is smiling. This can be a bit tricky, so just try to put some lines or guides first before pushing it down. Otherwise, you might have to keep on repeating it. And then put a white fondant for her eyes and spread it around the hole using a fondant tool. Repeat the same process for the other eye. Try your best to feel the whole thing. And then a black fondant for her mouth. This small strand is for the shape of her lips. I just created a small strand and put a bit of a V shape on the middle. And then a small white rectangle for her teeth. A small fondant for her tongue. Use a fondant tool to help you put them all in place. Now, slowly, we can already see Mirabel coming together. I'm just going to put a wire here. I do this to loosen up the fondant so that it's easy when I want to put it with the rest of the body. Okay, let's continue creating Mirabel's face. I'm going to put a circle fondant here for her eyes. Just fix this if you need to. I was just feeling that it wasn't on the right part that I wanted to be. A small round fondant for her nose. And two long strands. This will go around her eyes. Use a fondant tool to help you shape it in place. And then on the other side as well. Three small eyelashes on each eye. and a small black round fondant for her pupils. Looks good. Now we can combine this with the rest of the body. Flatten a thick black fondant for her hair, and then use a fondant tool to help you create random lines. Try to make it straight, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Should look something like this. And then use this as a guide so that you can cut each of them separately. Basically, this will be one strand each. Cut one strand and twist it. One by one, repeat the same process and attach it to the head. This might take a lot of time, but try to make them as close as possible with each other so we won't have those bald spots. Repeat the same process until you finish half the whole head. Create longer strands on the back and shorter strands on the front. This looks good. Now we will start creating all our finishing touches. Small white fondant for her eyes. This will make her eyes look more alive. After that, we will now create her eyeglasses. I'm doing this using acetate. You can also use a gelatin leaf if you want it to be edible. I put two circles beside each other and cut it like this. Put the green fondant around the eyeglass and the other eyeglasses as well. Here on the middle, and then combined it with the rest of the body. The eyeglasses that I did was a bit longer, so I had to cut it and make it shorter. Place the eyeglasses one by one on each eye. This looks good to me. Now we will start by painting on her skirt. I am using an edible paint. Make sure to design the whole skirt, not just the front, but the back as well. I am going to add some pretty flowers over here, just as our original. Of course, if you want to change the design here on the skirt, you can do so, but for me, I'm just trying to recreate Mirabel. So that's how we create Mirabel from Encanto. If you like our video tutorial for today, please like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you!